Hey Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And we're at episode 123.
Whee!
One day, I shall come back.
Oh dear, we are in trouble, aren't we?
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
I have the advantage of being slightly ahead of you. Sometimes behind you, but normally ahead of you.
The trouble with time travel is, one never seems to find the time.
Change, my dear. And it seems not a moment too soon.
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
A meteor storm and the sky above us was dancing with lights. Purple, green, brilliant yellow, yes!
I'm the doctor, by the way. What's your name?
Rose.
Nice to meet you, Rose.
Run for your life.
It's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Just remember who's standing in your way.
Look at the eyebrows. These are attack eyebrows. You can take bottle tops off with these.
Howdy do Who fans, and welcome back into 2017. It's nice to see you. Nice to see you, I hope you guys have had a fantastic Christmas and a great New Year. Hope you got some cool Who merch.
Yeah.
Saw a couple of pics on Facebook that you guys had put on, which looks pretty good.
Some of our listeners posted pics of what they got, didn't they? Which looked good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of them did quite well, seeing as there's not a great deal of merch out there at the minute.
I was thinking that, yeah.
It's quite hard pushed, especially for people who know you're a Doctor Who fan. It's like, I want to get him something for Christmas, and I know he's into Doctor Who, but there's absolutely nothing out there really worth getting.
What did he get? Yeah, what hasn't he got? That sort of thing, isn't it?
Exactly.
What can I get him that he hasn't already got? Yeah.
That's it. The struggle is real.
Did you get any Who stuff for Christmas?
I did.
Did you?
I got one thing.
What did you get?
It was a new desktop calendar. You know, you tear one off every day.
Oh, I treated myself to that because I'll tell you what, actually, because you posted a picture of last year's of the calendar, that rip-off one. And I thought, I like the look of that. So I actually, I saw it in the sale last weekend. So I bought it. I thought, I'll get that one this year because it's really nice. Yeah. Except this morning I tore off 2 pages at once. So I'm now on the 5th.
Well, sometimes I forget. I forget for a few days. I think last year, I forgot for about 2 weeks to tear a page off. And I ended up having to really struggle to try and tear off 2 weeks worth.
Oh, right.
But I did it in the end. I felt,
Yeah, I got visions of you, like, God, like somebody trying to rip the yellow pages in half.
Exactly. Yeah,
I used to do that.
Yeah.
But, weird thing with that though is it because mine is so far it's all been like the first Doctor, the Daleks, and then So what was it last year then? Because it seems like they're just doing it in chronological this year. So what was it last year? Yeah,
last year it was just random quotes from random Doctors. Okay,
so this year they've sort of gone.
Yeah, chronologically, I think.
Chronologically. It looks like it so far, yeah.
Yes.
Are you on the right day? You're looking 4. Over at it. Yeah. You are a number 4, yeah.
Yeah, so we're recording today, January the 4th. And actually, it's a good point. Last year, well, for the bulk of last year, up until, I think it was about September, we recorded on a Thursday. But these days, because of work and all the rest of it, we typically record on a Wednesday. So just bear that in mind. So when we put the Facebook post out on the Twitter and so on and say, we're reviewing X episode, what do you reckon? You've got until sort of early Wednesday to get your stuff in.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was meant to bring that point up about 3 months ago. But I forgot.
But time flies. Yeah.
It does fly.
It does fly. Yeah.
Yes. So, like I said, hope you guys have had a really good Christmas and New Year, and you're all set up now and ready to get rocking and rolling for whatever you want to do in 2017. Adam and I love this time of year because it's we've got a clean sheet in the old review, the review stack of what's coming up. We've got a plan ahead. We've got stuff we want to do. It's exciting times.
It is. I was just saying to Gary actually before we kicked off recording, I opened up the computer last night, and there's our schedule for this year. All blank, and I thought, it's exciting. So we started putting in all the Doctors that we're going to do in the order that we do them. because it probably seems like a random order to you guys, but we, believe it or not, we know what we're doing.
There's method in the madness.
There is. So I started filling in all the doctors in their strange order, and I was just really excited. I was like, yeah, I love this. We've got a whole blank sheet to fill in of stories to watch for the year. And also, we're going to get our YouTube channel up and going this year. We've already got a plan of a couple of vids that we're going to do for that, which I'm excited about. Some commentaries we're going to do, aren't we? So it is. I do like the start. I do like the start of a new year. Exciting stuff.
It is good stuff. We've got a new website on the way, which will be up and running very shortly. Hopefully, as part of that, we'll have the merch shop attached to it. If you want to buy a big blue box, pencil case,
desk tidy,
or an array. No, I'm joking. No, if you want to buy teas and stuff like that, they'll be up soon as well with a new website, and then that will kick off the YouTube. Yeah, so it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It is going to be good. Yeah, it's going to be good times. Yeah, get ourselves out to some conventions this year as well. Yeah,
I've already been planning it. I was on Twitter with Showmasters yesterday. I was bugging him about when are they going to bring Collectomania back to Milton Keynes, because that's only up the road from me.
Yeah.
And they said no.
Did they?
They said no. I was like, okay. Scrap
no,
that
I
idea.
think there is. I've heard stuff that I won't go into because it could be libelous. I've heard there was a few issues behind the scenes there. I don't know how much of it's true, so I think they've just decided to knock it on the head.
Showmasters in general, or just Milton Keynes?
No, just Milton Keynes, because they moved it. It used to be inside the shopping centre, and then they moved it to the big stadium outside. Because I remember the last time I went to one there, it was in the big stadium.
That's right.
And it was a really bad rainy day, and Peter Davison was there in one of those little gazebo thingies.
Yeah.
And it was blowing around all over the place, and he really didn't look like a happy chap. But I didn't blame him. It was just horrific. So they're all sat in these like little tents all around the stadium, just getting battered by this rain and wind. So I don't know. I don't think that's the reason they're not going. I think it's something else, some behind the scenes stuff with the organisers. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not surprised to hear they're not going to be there.
Yeah. Normally, when they reply to people, they say, well, if you check the forum, that's got the plan for our events coming up and so on. But no, this was just a no. One thing is cool, though, in March, we should arrange some kind of meetup, because me and the missus are doing a run competition for St. David's Day in Cardiff on Sunday the 5th of March. And that weekend is the Collectomania event in Cardiff.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that could be a cool one to get a load of fans over there.
Yeah, and do that experience before it shuts.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. When is that closing? It's middle of the year, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I don't think they've put a date on it. It's just summertime, the end of summer, I think, when we read it out.
Yeah. It'd be terrible if it closes around the same time as the new series starts. Be a bit of a double whammy, wouldn't it? Because I'm thinking, when will the new series start? I was thinking this when I was filling in the schedule yesterday. I was thinking, when does the new series start? Because I don't want to go too far in the schedule, because we'll have to erase it all. But
why have I got April in my head?
Well, I'm thinking that I have a feeling we were told it was going to be earlier, because last time Series 9 went out quite late in the year, and it also went out quite late at night, didn't it?
That's right.
So I've got a feeling it's I've got a feeling it's around that time as well.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm sure it's in my head for some reason. It could be a bit later than that, but yeah, the Series 10, once that's done, they could have filled it all up with some new props and costumes from Series 10.
Yes.
And all that. Yeah, it's still cutting. That cuts me deep. You cut me deep,
me
Shrek. You cut me real deep.
Me too. I saw a friend actually over Christmas or New Year, I forget which now, in the blurriness. A friend I hadn't seen for a long time, who's a big Doctor Who fan. And he was like saying, "Oh, we ought to go to that thing next year." I was like, "Do you mean the Doctor Who experience?" Like, yeah, that's the one in Cardiff. So yeah, it's shutting, dude. He's like, "What? No way." He was like, "Oh my God, right, let's get down there, let's book it on." Yeah, so do need to do that.
It's just a shame that the council have pulled the funding on it, or pulled the lease. Sorry. It's a real shame. Maybe there was a Kickstarter thing, wasn't there? No, not a Kickstarter. There was an online petition.
A petition. Yeah, there was. Yeah,
and that got a fair few thousand people signed up to it. Whether it will go anywhere, I'm not sure. But these things.
I was going to say, nicest will in the world. Petitions are all very well meaning, but they unfortunately don't. They rarely have any actual effect on anything. I don't think.
Yeah.
Although it's very well meaning, but yeah, we'll definitely try and get down there before that shuts. And
we will definitely.
Who's at that event, by the way?
I don't know. McCoy and Colin.
Given.
Yeah, I think Nicola Bryant and...
Nicola Bryant.
Yeah, and a couple of other people. They haven't announced too many guests yet because it's a few months away, but they normally start putting them on, don't they, a couple of months before.
They do, yes.
Yeah, so I'll be in Cardiff that weekend, so if our fans want to have a meet-up and do the experience, potentially that'll probably be our chance to do it before it closes.
Yeah.
Then that'd be good. But otherwise, we'll probably end up at the big London Comic Con, won't we? When's that? June, July?
End of July. So excited for that, actually.
That'd
really can't. After last year, there isn't even... There's some great guests been announced. I mean, there hasn't been anybody that I've been like really desperate to meet, but I just can't wait to go again and be part of the... We had such a good time last year, didn't we?
It was great, yeah.
Yeah, I did see that Matthew Waterhouse has been added, though, which I knew you'd be thrilled about.
Yay.
So I love Matthew Waterhouse, and I'm not even joking. I love Adric.
He's all right.
Well, actually, love's probably too strong a word, but I like
be careful,
it. Yeah, exactly. The brat himself.
Old Adric.
Yeah,
talking of Adric, I picked up a couple of Big Finish bits yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought I'd kick off the new year by playing catch up and also ordering some new stuff. So I picked up this story called Cold Fusion.
He's in it, isn't he?
He is, yeah. So it's Davison and McCoy, but it's also like the Davison TARDIS team. So it's got Nyssa and Tegan and Adric in it. So I'm really looking forward to listening to that one. It sounds quite interesting.
Is that one of the novel adaptations? Yes. Is that one based on the, I don't know if it was the New Adventures, the Virgin Adventures, something like that?
Yes, yeah.
One of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in that one.
Yeah, sounds good. So it's got Davison, McCoy,
Matthew
Adric.
Waterhouse.
Yeah.
The whole lot, yeah.
How does that work? I'm just, because I haven't read the book or anything, so I'm quite intrigued by that one.
Yeah, well, apparently it's one of the doctors, I think it's McCoy, is fresh out of a regeneration. And the time period that he stumbles upon, he bumps into Davison's doctor.
Oh, right, okay.
So it sounds really, that's why I picked it up, because I thought, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
And also picked up the first Torchwood, because I need to start getting the Torchwood stuff in. So I picked up The Conspiracy, the first story that they brought out.
Yeah.
When was that? In 2015, I think, at the end of...
Gosh, is it already?
The John Barrowman single story. Yeah.
I saw you were listening to Order of the Daleks as well.
Yes, I've got the first part listened on that.
Yeah, what do you reckon of it so far?
Very good so far.
Yeah, I listened to that towards the end of last year, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so good one. Yeah, I saw you listening to that because we both loved the cover, didn't we? And I bought it just because of the cover. But thankfully, it turned out to be a really good story as well.
Yeah, no, it's good. I love Colin on... Well, we've said it many times. Colin is outstanding on Big Finish.
Is. We've even told him. What was that? That was London Film Comic Con, wasn't it? Where we were just babbling on at him, and he was like, "Yeah, thanks very much. Please move on and let's."
He was quite modest. Yeah, he's like,
"Yeah, please let somebody else in the queue get an autograph." Oh, all right.
Yeah. So I think events for 2017, and also we'll. One of us or both of us will probably be out to the smaller ones like we did the last couple of years as well.
Yeah.
So 10th Planet, Phantom Films, those guys.
Yes.
They do some great little ones dotted around.
Really hope Phantom gets some good ones.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll end up at the Copthorne in Slough / Windsor.
Yeah, the old Paradise Towers as I call it. Yeah, I'm sure we will. Although having said that, 10th Planet have moved their next event to a different venue, so I don't know if they're not using Copthorne anymore. But
it's actually in Windsor now, is it?
No, it's not. No, nothing so extravagant, Gary. But no, it's no, they've moved it to. Oh, I don't know. So I can't remember. Somewhere completely different. But yeah, did you know somebody spotted that the Copthorne Hotel is in the Five-ish Doctors? You know, the Peter Davison thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
And then goes to the bar. Yeah, I didn't notice it either. I haven't watched Five-ish Doctors for a while. I need to give it another watch, actually. But yeah, so they probably filmed a bit while they were there doing conventions. Yeah.
I did not know that. To be fair, I haven't seen that in a while.
It is cool, though.
The Five-ish Doctors. I haven't watched that in a while.
No, nor have I.
Yeah. It's interesting, actually. Peter Davison mentions it in his book, the whole thing around the Five-ish Doctors and leading up to it and how it almost never got made. Yeah, because it was actually Colin that almost threw a spanner in the works.
Oh yeah, I remember you touched on that on the Doctor Who magazine as well. Yeah,
because he was saying that Colin insisted that his family were in the programme.
That's right, and the BBC wanted them out.
That's right, and the BBC were like, "You got to be joking." And Colin was like, "Well, it's that or the whole thing's off." So Davison's pleading with one of the producers at the Beeb to say, "Look, we've got to just keep him happy. Can we just do a small scene somewhere where he's chatting to his girls and whatever?" And I was like, "Wow, oh Cole."
No one says no to Colin.
Never,
never,
unless they want a backhander.
No, do not mess with him. Yeah, but I'll need to get that. I know what I'm very excited about the events. Like you said, you mentioned Phantom there. I'm looking forward to seeing who they get this year because they get some. They're a very small event, and they get some great people, and they get some really obscure people as well. So it's a really good mix. I mean, you'd look at the list, and there'll be people there you think, well, he was only in like, a really small part, but then there'll be somebody there who's like, oh, he's there. I've always wanted to meet him, because he never does them, and he was only in a small part. So it really appeals to loads of people. The Phantom event. I can't wait to see who they get this year, and but they also get big people like they got Tom Baker, obviously, Daphne Ashbrook, Dashni.
Yeah,
they get loads of they get really varied people. So look forward to their events this year.
Well, they've got their signing spectaculars lined up. For the Chiswick venue. Yeah,
I do. Yeah,
they've got them lined up to May. No guests yet, but they've got the dates already done for February, March, April, May. So we'll look forward to those.
I've actually, no word of a lie, I've actually already put the dates in my diary because my other half's been on about booking holidays, and I always like to just keep an eye on these things to make sure they don't clash, secretly. Just like, secretly. Got something on that weekend, can't possibly go to Spain.
Chiswick,
there's no
holiday in the sun.
The sad thing is, I'd rather be in Chiswick. I'm not one for holidays. I'm a bit like BA from the A Team. I have to be given a drugged burger to be got on a plane. I don't like flying.
Yeah,
but I love it when I'm there.
It's just you just want to snap your fingers and be there.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, I was thinking that your partner's the same, isn't she? She doesn't like flying, does she?
She hates it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw a picture of you two because you've just come back from Canada, and I saw a picture of you two on the plane, and I could tell that I could almost sense the dread in Nat's face. I thought I can totally relate to that. That's me normally. Yeah, on the plane.
She's fine once we're up, and we're cruising and the plane's leveled out. But that first bit, like takeoff and that, she's dreadful. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No.
See, I'm the opposite because I'm fine with the flight and the takeoff, but the whole time we're up in the air, I'm gripping the seat, expecting the plane to fall out the sky.
Oh, mate.
Which, of course, is very unlikely for anyone that's listening who's terrified of flying. It's very unlikely.
Anyone that's due to depart soon.
Yeah.
It's extremely unlikely. Yeah. You've got more chance of being hit by Bessie out in the street than a plane falling out the sky.
Yes. Yeah.
Indeed.
Talking of flying, shall we land?
I was going to say, the waffle is well and truly started in 2017.
Waffle,
Shall we land it and do the news?
Let's land it.
First up, young budding artists out there, or old artists, whatever. You can get your work featured in a new book called Doctor Who, The Illustrated Adventures. So they are asking, Penguin Books, they are asking for any kind of artwork that fans are into, whether it's sketching, painting, digital art, whatever. They are asking you guys to contribute to a new book that's out towards the end of the year. So it's called Doctor Who: The Illustrated Adventures, and what they're doing, they've taken 100 Doctor Who stories, and they want to feature a piece of artwork to reflect that particular episode or story. And I think this is quite good. I think it's a good way to get fans involved, because normally when I'm having a look through Twitter or Facebook, I always see loads of fan artwork.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
literally every day, whether it's like I said, a sketch, or someone's done a cool desktop wallpaper or something like that. I always see some really good stuff. So I encourage all of you guys to jump on it. We'll put a link in the show notes, but essentially if you head over to the website, the Penguin Books website, they've got a page there, and they've got a list of the 100 episodes that they are going to feature in the book. And they've also got a template for you to download so that your artwork is the correct dimensions and all that stuff. And what they're going to do, they're going to pick, initially they said they were going to pick, I think it was about 20 odd entries to put in the book. But then they said that depending on how much quality comes in, they may pick as many as over 100 to use. So I think, it's not a case of they've got a set number, and if you don't make the cut, that's it. So it's well worth sending in your stuff. So if you are, if you're a regular, sketcher or painter of Doctor Who stuff, or you're a Photoshop guy or lady, and you're doing all that stuff, this is a great chance to get your name and your artwork in a proper book that will be on the shelves. Penguin
they are one of the biggest publishers, aren't they? So that is really cool. It'd be a great thing to be a part of, I should think. I agree with you, actually. I often see people on Twitter posting their artwork. Ben Lett, for example, Host Productions. He's really into his art, isn't he? You've probably seen some of his stuff. So yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. In fact, somebody said that they were going to put a bunch of stuff on our own Facebook page. Oh, Kevin, a recent listener, Kevin Mullen. He sent over a batch of some really cool digital artwork stuff. So yeah, any of you guys that are into it, it's really, I think it'd be worth doing. It's not an elite thing where they're looking for, the next Picasso or anything like that. It's literally just has to be, a half decent, a good looking piece of art. So we will stick the notes, the link in the show notes, because the URL is quite long. So if you go to penguin.co.uk and do a search on there for Doctor Who artwork, you probably find it. But good way to start 2017.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, in other news, quite big news actually. At the end of this year's Christmas special, we got a Series 10 teaser trailer, and it was quite a lot going on in there, I thought, and it certainly gave us a lot more of our new companion, Bill. So it gave us quite a lot to sort of take in, I thought. There's been quite a few breakdowns done on social media about what's actually in there, because the clips were really quick. I mean, I tried to freeze frame certain bits to get screen grabs and see what was actually in there. There was a lot thrown in that trailer. And I don't know about you, Gary, but it really, really got me excited for Series 10. I was quite... I liked the trailer. I thought, yes, looks like there's some good stuff in here. What about you? Did you think it was good?
Yeah.
Bit hesitant.
Yeah, a little bit. I didn't think it didn't knock me off my feet, and I'm okay. Now, I can't wait for it. There seems to be an awful lot of corridors.
Yeah, well, yeah.
An awful lot, which I know is par for the course for Doctor Who, but there is there's corridors all over the place. And we see the orange spacesuits again.
But they are different, though. I think they look quite cool.
Well, they are different in one of the episodes, but there's another clip where the TARDIS is out in a field or in a quarry, I assume, somewhere. And I think we did see the classic orange suits. But
do we? Oh, okay, I may have missed that.
But there is an episode where they're like gold with bits of orange on them, a different one. And then we've got an old Victorian style one, which, seems to be a Moffat thing.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm more interested to see what's going on with Bill more than anything, because this trailer was very centered around, because she's narrating over the trailer.
Yeah.
And so on. So I'm quite intrigued to see what they do with her character and how that's going to mix with Nardole and the Doctor, because he's in it as a regular, isn't he? He's now I would say he's a companion now.
Yeah,
because
I would say that.
He's featured throughout the entire trailer in all the episodes. So we can safely say that he's a companion now. So it'd be interesting to see how that sort of goes along with it's essentially two brand new companions, but coming at it from completely different, directions. So yes, I'm interested for that point of view, but overall, yeah, it just looked a bit, dare I say it, looked a bit Series 7-ish.
Oh, all right.
To me.
Yeah, I didn't really get that vibe. I thought it looked, overall, I thought it looked quite good. My initial impressions of Bill from the trailer weren't great, I have to say. I thought she seemed a bit irritating. She's obviously going to be asking a lot of questions from what we've been shown. I think it starts off with her serving chips or something, doesn't it? So she's going to be very down to earth.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've watched it a few times since, and every time I watch it, I just can't decide if she's really annoying or really endearing. Do you know what I mean? I'll have to wait till we see a proper episode. But my opinion of Bill still out there. I still haven't quite decided yet. Because I don't know. I just think she could. It depends how she's written. She comes across in that trailer as being a bit irritating.
A little bit, yeah.
She's sort of like, "Where's this? What's that? What's this?" Yeah. So I don't know. Boat's still out on Bill at the minute. But no, I thought the trailer looked pretty good. I like the fact. I I didn't spot the Movellans. I know everyone's like, the Movellans are back. And I was like, where? And they were like, it was such a short clip. So kudos to the guys who spotted that almost immediately the trailer aired. So the Movellans are back, which is quite exciting.
Yep.
I thought overall the style looked good. There's some CGI, a lot of CGI in the clips, and I thought overall it looked good. There was one bit, I had to screenshot it, that did make me think of you, because we talk a lot about the effects being bad. There is one bit, and it is very quick, and it might be the bit you're talking about, where this water explodes up from the ground and the TARDIS is next to it in what looks like a sort of quarry with loads of CGI on it, and it just looks terrible. It really does look really badly done. I don't know what it will look like in the episode, but just from that one clip, I thought, oh, Gary will be laughing at that. But overall, I thought the rest of it looked good. There's a nice shot of the Doctor and Bill walking towards this futuristic city in a field and stuff, which looked quite nice. And we've got these robots with the emoji faces, so it looks like the emoji rumor may be true. Not quite sure how I feel about that. What else did we get in there?
There was a scene where there's loads of people inside the TARDIS.
Yes, that's right. The Doctor's got the shades on, isn't he? And he looks depressed, and there's loads of people behind him and stuff. Yeah.
That seems quite interesting. I'm not sure if they're... Because you can see Bill in the background. She's down by... I think it's Bill anyway, and Nardole. They're down by the screens, down by the console, and the Doctor's up on one of the walkways, and there's a guy sort of consoling him, it looks like. He's got his hand on his shoulder, but the TARDIS seems packed with loads of people.
Yeah.
So you don't often see that. So that's
no, I did think that. I was trying to work out, because I was, again, paused it and was trying to see who was in there, but you can't see. The thing that did surprise you was we saw a few clips from that, Bill's introductory thing with the Dalek.
Oh, yeah.
In the corridors, which to me looked really cheap. I thought, well, it's just an introduction. They've probably just done that on a set they already had. I was quite surprised to see that in it, because I thought, oh, so it's actually from a proper episode then. So I don't know about that. Just because I wasn't very impressed at all with that clip that we got of Bill, the intro. I thought the dialogue was awful. I thought it looked terrible in terms of production. But again, I just assumed it was knocked up as a quick intro. I didn't think it was part of a real episode. So I was surprised to see that in there. You know the bit I mean, don't you? In the corridor, and the Daleks shooting them, and they turn around, and I was like, oh, that's there. But no, overall, I don't know, got me excited. I thought, I think, well, we'll see when we get into the review of the Christmas special. I think I could perhaps say a little bit more, but it got me excited for Series 10.
Cool, man. That's good.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll change the intro, because they seem to do that every series, don't they? They have a little tweak or change it.
Yeah.
I hope
I'd like them to change the music. I'm still not a fan of Capaldi's theme.
No, well, somebody asked me a while ago, when we changed our intro music, somebody did say on Twitter, I think, or Facebook, why aren't you not using the new music? And
because it sounds like a cat playing a broken violin.
Yeah, well, I said, well, first of all, we're not. I said we're not allowed to. The clips that we use are, although they sound very close to the original music, they're actually sort of fan made. So we wouldn't be allowed to use it anyway. But we just don't like it very much, do we?
No, I don't like it. No, I thought it might grow on me, but it never has. I mean, I don't hate it by any means, but whenever it starts, I'm always every time I hear it, I just think, oh, I hope we get a new theme soon.
Me too. Yeah, absolutely.
I might forget to say this later, so I may as well say it now. I thought we'd get the Christmas baubles in the intro on the Christmas special, but we didn't. So we still got the same intro as well. I'd like to see a new intro and theme, if I'm honest, but I don't know. I can't see it happening, to be honest. I've got a feeling they'll just keep it, to go with the rest of Capaldi's era.
Well, I think that, certainly in the Moffat era, they've always changed it with each series. Yeah. So if we stick to that convention, then we should, in theory, be getting a new, or if not, slightly tweaked version. So, because I think Eccleston and Tennant's first, I think they shared the same intro and theme, I believe. So series 1 and 2 are the same, I think. And it wasn't until series 3 that they changed, that Murray Gold came up with that new sort of more bassier, a bit more drums and stuff,
Yeah.
But certainly for Moffat, he's changed it every series, so who knows?
We'll see. I'd like to see a tweaked version, just something, Yeah. Make it feel a bit fresh.
So series 10 trailer. Check it out on YouTube if you've not seen it yet.
Yeah.
Should we get those Daleks in? We've only got one bit of merch to talk through.
Yes, let's see what they've got.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
Talking of the Christmas special, if you want to own it on Blu-ray, all the deets have now been released as of a few days ago. Well, actually, a couple of weeks ago. So you've probably seen this, but if not, the bonus material for the DVD as well as the Blu-ray, it's only got a couple of extras on it. The Doctor, a new kind of hero. This goes into so it basically goes into the theory that the Doctor himself has no superpowers, but he can be sort of viewed alongside superheroes as a very heroic character and so on. So there's I imagine it's with the Moff and some other writers and a couple of the actors about what makes the Doctor, why is he viewed so much as a big sort of heroic character, even though he has no superpowers and so on.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the return of Dr. Mysterio, which is basically the making of, like a behind the scenes thing, which you've probably seen a lot in the first teaser when they...
I was thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, so when we were looking forward to a trailer for the Christmas special, we actually got a trailer / behind the scenes thing. And it's probably a bunch of that plus a bit more. And then some interviews with Capaldi and the Moff and Matt Lucas and so on. So that, to me, I think is the only... I mean, there's probably a couple of other little bits on there, but they're the main sort of special features for the Blu-ray, which is out at the end of Jan.
Yeah, it's down for the 23rd, I think.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. I was only laughing earlier because, the cover, it's not a bad cover, actually, but I was just laughing because it's got the ghost smashing through the window and then Nardole, the Doctor, and can't remember the girl's name, Lucy, looking up at him. But I'm just laughing because they're all looking at different places.
Oh, yeah, it's amazingly, the Photoshop work is...
Not one of them's looking in the right place. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's tremendous as usual.
That's why sometimes the fan art is sometimes so much better for these things. But it's not bad. It just makes me laugh because, I can see what they've tried to do there. But, they haven't exactly gone overboard with the extras. But presumably at some point we'll get a Series 10 box set and this will be included. Although I think last time, do you remember the BBC... cheekily, they released it singly and then they announced Series 9 and they weren't going to include the Christmas special and people were like, what? I thought it was the complete, I want it. So they eventually gave in and they did include it. But you just never know with the BBC. So if you enjoyed it and you're thinking, I'll wait and get it with Series 10, just beware. They might not include it. It depends what mood they're in. So you might want to buy it singly. Yeah. Don't know what the price is. I expect it's around about 13 quid or something, or 16, depending on where you're buying it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably, 13 quid, I suppose.
Yeah, normally around about that price.
Yeah. And, that Photoshop, it's just, yeah. Anyway, and, you can get it on the BBC store now if you want to. If you want to buy it, it's 4 quid in HD.
Oh, they've already got it on there, have they?
Yeah, or apparently if you buy it on iTunes, it's a bit cheaper than that even. So,
oh, right.
Have a look around if you're a digital person. If you don't want to have the disc, if you're happy to live a digital life, you can get it right now. So you can watch it over and over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be Christmas. Mysterio is not just for Christmas.
Precisely. And I think we'll end the merch corner with that bit of wisdom, and we'll boot the Daleks out into the rain once more.
Go on.
And 2017, our first review is a Christmas special. The one just gone.
Yeah, it's all over. Done with. A year's wait.
A year's wait for this one episode. Buddy, what are we reviewing this week?
It is, of course, the return of Dr. Mysterio.
I'm back.
Who are you?
The Doctor.
Doctor. The Ghost.
Who's the Ghost?
Masked vigilante, but he's super.
This seems nice. We're here to open your minds.
What are those brain things?
Alien life forms.
Hey!
Don't do that.
Duty calls.
Whoa. Yes. Gary's got his head in his hands. I can't think why.
Oh, brother.
Wow.
The return of Dr. Mysterio went out on December 25th. It was an hour. Oh, it was an hour. It was an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
And it was directed by Ed Bazalgette, and it was written by the Moff.
Yes.
Obviously, starring Capaldi as the Doctor, with Matt Lucas as the companion, as Nardole.
Although how does Capaldi say it? He says it different, doesn't he?
Nardole.
Nardole.
Yeah,
Nardole.
Nardole.
I can't remember. He said it in the episode. I was like, oh, is that how you say it?
Almost sounds like a Lord of the Rings character. Nardole.
Nardole, yeah.
Yeah, and then it also starred a bunch of other people, which we'll get onto.
Mm-hmm.
Off the bat, this was crap, mate.
Well, off the bat, it's the first Christmas special I've enjoyed in years.
Oh, come on.
Honestly, I really enjoyed it. I did. I mean, I hated last year's, but I actually quite enjoyed this one. But I know why people didn't. I can totally see why. But no, I enjoyed it.
I tell you what, mate.
I'm not even joking. I really enjoyed it.
It wasn't. Okay, it was marginally better than last year's.
I hated last year's.
No, sorry, not last. What was the year before? The Nick Frost one.
The Last Christmas.
Yeah, it was marginally better than that. I would say it's on the same par as... Was the River Song one Last Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And I'll tell you what, I went in... do you know when I watched this?
When?
Monday.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Let me just go.
I've only just watched it because I was in...
Well, maybe you weren't in that sort of festive-y mood.
Well, I was going to watch it, and then I fell asleep when I was in Canada.
Right.
But, I told you I had this cool channel over there called Space.
Yeah.
Well, they were doing a marathon, a Doctor Who marathon leading up to the Christmas special. Now, the last time I was in Canada at Christmas, they did literally the whole Doctor Who over the course of however many days, from series 1 through to series 8, the end of 8, and then the Christmas special, I think. Yeah. This time, all they did was play all the Christmas specials.
Oh, fun.
So I was sort of Who specialed out
Yeah.
And I thought, I just can't handle it anymore.
Especially after we did the wardrobe the other week.
Oh, crikey, yeah. And then sort of every couple of days I thought, right, I really need to sit down and watch the Who Xmas special. I really need to sit down, but I just couldn't be.
No,
you
didn't
to watch it. And then when I did watch it, I thought, what's happened?
Oh, mate.
What's happened? Seriously, I mean, I didn't have a terrible. There were a couple of bits in it that I thought, yeah, that's quite cool, and that's quite funny. Surprisingly, I actually quite liked Nardole. I thought he was quite a cool character in this. Very typical Matt Lucas. You can tell that a mile off. Very, very Matt Lucas. But yeah, just the whole thing. I just thought, what has happened?
Well, you just sat there thinking disaster.
Well, not disaster, but I just thought, is this the point? Is this where we've come to with Doctor Who, where,
right,
where we can no longer, we can no longer look forward to a good. And the thing that really puzzled me was, I think it was mid-December when whichever magazine or blog did an interview with the Moff, and he said it was going to be one of the most Christmassy Doctor Who specials ever. And there wasn't, and there wasn't a flake of snow in sight. There wasn't the only thing we saw was a crappy little half Christmas tree stapled to a kid's wall at the beginning. And
I think the Christmassy bit was only at the start. I think after that there wasn't any Christmas. I don't think. Yeah,
there was no Christmas spirit in this one at all, was there? It wasn't. You can't call it a Christmas special. It's just a Doctor Who special.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
And I appreciate that you liked it, mate. So I don't want to.
Well, I was going to say, I'll set a scene for you, right? So Christmas Day, the TV is on. I've not got any hopes of hearing it or watching it, as I just sort of wanted it on in the background so I could just get a flavour. Yeah. So it's on in the background. We're all opening our presents. Can't hear a word of it. So I have no idea what it's about. No idea what's going on. Obviously, I didn't bother staying off social media afterwards. I wasn't bothered about spoilers at all. I didn't care for red spoilers. So I went on and I saw it was a mixed reaction. There's nothing new there. But I was seeing a few fairly positive comments. So, okay, that's good then. Because we both weren't very enthralled by the trailers and stuff, were we? We weren't expecting a lot from this at all. Mm-hmm. So I had very, very, very low expectations. Boxing Day, I got up. First thing I did, I got up. I thought, right, I'm going to watch Christmas special. See what it was like. I put it on. I was sat with my partner. I thought, this is going to go down well. I'll see how long it lasts before he gets up and leaves. And we were both there by the end of it, and we both looked at each other and said, I really enjoyed that. He's like, yeah, so did I. And I couldn't believe it because I haven't enjoyed a Christmas special in years. I can't remember that the last Christmas special I enjoyed would probably have been a David Tennant one, where I could seriously say I enjoyed that. I can't remember the last time my partner sat all the way through a Doctor Who Christmas special in years. I don't think he's lasted more than 5 or 10 minutes before he's got up or got on his phone or whatever. But we both sat there and watched it. And I totally get why you're saying what you're saying, because I'm surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did. Right, because it is incredibly cheesy, beyond cheesy. Right, I get that. And the production values were very questionable at times, like the backdrops, the flying scenes. Like, God, it was pretty cringy. But I just found it fun, and I think the reason I enjoyed it more than I have the last few. I mean, I really didn't like last year's Christmas special at all, the River Song one. The reason I enjoyed it, mate, the bottom line is because it wasn't bogged down in Clara nonsense or River Song nonsense or anything else. It was just, I found it quite a fun, heartwarming story with the Doctor, just getting these two guys together. And I don't know, I just found it a fun watch. And I think what it is I just went with it. As soon as it started, I knew what we were in for. I thought, yeah, it's just going to be a real cheese fest. Okay, let's just go with that. And yeah, I just went along with it. It may have been that I was in the right mood for it. I mean, it's not something I would watch, every day. It's not something I'm not going to go to the Blu-ray section and think, oh, Dr. Mysterio, let's get that on. But for where I was at the time and everything, I just found it a really enjoyable watch. I could just switch off for that hour and go along with the ride.
That's cool.
So yeah, I mean, I am pleased. I really didn't think I was going to enjoy it, but I did. Yeah.
At least one of us enjoyed it.
Yeah,
which is good, because it's, let's be honest, the Christmas specials with Doctor Who haven't fared very well in terms of. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, and like I say, don't mistake me saying I enjoyed it for me thinking it's great, because it certainly wasn't anything amazing. It wasn't a great episode of Doctor Who, but it was. But I just found it an enjoyable one. It's probably how I would sum it up. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's good.
I really didn't know if you'd enjoy it. I must admit, I was sat there the whole way through, and I thought, this is why I've been dying to talk to you about it. I thought, I wonder what Gary will make of that, because I think it is one of those episodes you'll either get into it or it will just do nothing for you. It's just a very, very Marmite episode.
The thing, I think the main thing that irked me the most about it, there's two things really. The first one was that the guy that played Grant / the Ghost, is it Justin Chatwin?
Yeah.
I just really, I know he was purposefully meant to act, when he was the Ghost, he was meant to play that kind of 70s superhero, with all like, the pointing, and the cheesy lines and stuff.
Yeah.
It really didn't, because I think the Moth's thing was he was trying to do sort of he was trying to do like a Marvel DC kind of modern superhero story, but then he's made the hero guy. He's made him talk and act like a very retro superhero that you would see in comics and cartoons from ages ago, and that didn't sit right with me, because I'm thinking, why is the Moth written him this way? But yet he's got him in one of like these super cool looking, shiny leather, superhero costumes and stuff like that. But yet he's talking like the old Superman comics from like the sort of silver era.
Yeah, because I think that was more what the Moth was going for, wasn't it? I think he said it was more of a homage to the older style of superhero. So like the original Christopher Reeves. Yeah, where you're right, he's sort of dressed up in. But then again, if he'd have walked on in a pair of blue tights and some green underpants on, you'd have been saying, well, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that I couldn't get my head around. It just didn't gel with me while I was watching it.
Trying to do.
And the other one was, I know that it was meant to be based on the whole superhero thing that's very popular, it's been very popular in the general public for a few years now. But there was nothing original in here in terms of that, because he had just, in previous stories where Doctor Who does like to pilfer from, other sci-fi. It's referenced Alien a few times and stuff like that. But this was there was no originality here in the plot around the superhero and so on, because at the beginning, the Doctor's like, there's the gemstone. And there's 4 of them. And they've got these amazing powers and so on. And it's like, hold on, you've literally just watched like all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because that's in Marvel, they have 4 stones called the Infinity Stones. And then we have the whole Peter Parker thing where he's in the school corridor and he's got, and he's like the nerdy kid who's getting bullied, but he's got X-ray vision like Superman, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I completely understand why they were there, because, like you said, it's paying homage to, the older, the classic superhero stuff and all that. But there was just nothing, they're cool little side notes, but there was nothing in the story that made it original. It's just like it's like an episode of Friends. It's like a cheesy little American soap story with 2 people who like, she obviously fancies him, but he's the nanny and he really fancies her, and you know, there's this little soap opera thing going on, and then you've got this, I don't know what, you know, the alien brains that landed and taken over people, and they've built this building in the middle of New York that's gonna, you know, so when their ship that they've made into a bomb is going to crash into the earth and wipe everything out, this one building in New York is going to be their base, if you like, and with all these other capital cities.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, you know, and I think maybe Moffat's playing up at that a little bit, because I think the Doctor does say early on, you know, at Christmas time, there's usually an invasion or somebody's normally.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So it was all there. It was all there in plain sight. You know, there was, and that was the problem for me, really. There was no imagination for me when I was watching it. Everything was played out as a soap in front of me. It was, you know, it was kind of, I didn't finish watching it thinking, well, hold on, why did he say that then? That's quite cool. And why did that happen? It was like, it's almost like the Moff said, look, there's going to be a lot of kids watching, so we need to paint by numbers. So he does this, she does this, he says this. And he, you know, and that was for me. It was, I just couldn't get into it, buddy.
No. Okay. Well, fair enough. I mean, I know what you mean about it being a bit sort of Friends-like soap opera-y. I mean, I quite like the scene when the Doctor's, when it splits into 3 screens. This is probably the bit you didn't like, but I found that quite funny when they were having the phone call.
Okay.
And the 3 of them, and then they have to quickly, you know, get off the phone, and it's, you know, I thought that worked quite well. I'll agree with you about the baddie, the enemies, the aliens, whatever they were. They're the weakest thing in it for me. I didn't think they worked particularly well. There wasn't much threat at all, because it was very much centered around Grant and is it Lucy?
Lucy.
Yeah, Grant and Lucy. So it's very much based around them and her not recognising him and stuff. But I think I don't know. I think I just got off to a good start of it because I loved the intro with Capaldi and the kids. It just got me off to a good start. I thought it was just a lovely scene. Capaldi just works really well with kids. He like sparks off them really well. You know, the fact he's like, you know, and he's like saying, "How old are you now? 35 or something?" and all that. And I've had issues with the way Capaldi's been written and the way he's played it in Series 9. But I loved him in this. I thought, right, he's got the sharpness of Series 8 Capaldi, but he's got the warmth of Series 9. They've finally found a good balance. And so I loved the start. And I liked the way he interacted with the other characters. I think a lot of people felt he was a bit sidelined in this story.
The Doctor himself.
Yeah, which to an extent I will agree with. I do think, possibly was a bit, but I loved the scenes he was in. One of the things that surprises me about this is that the Moffat's humour does quite often fall flat with me. I think last year I didn't find Husband's River Song funny at all. I thought it fell flat as a pancake, but I genuinely smiled and laughed quite a lot throughout this episode. And one of my favourite scenes was that scene with the squeaky toy. I loved it when she was like torturing it to get answers out of Capaldi. I thought he was brilliant in that scene, and I just thought it worked really, really well. In fact, I want one of those toys. What was he called, Mr. Squiffle?
I don't know.
You hated it. See, I loved all that.
I thought that was one of the worst scenes.
I knew you were going to say that. I loved it.
Oh, mate.
Mr. Squiffle, and the fact he was there on the console at the end. No, I loved all that.
But why would the Doctor be bothered about that though?
Oh, I don't know.
Why? I don't understand. That's the. I can't see.
Oh, I loved it. I love that scene.
Wow.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know if it's Mr. Squiffle, but the listeners will know what I mean. That toy thing. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I don't know. As I said, I don't often find the Moff's humour funny. Me and my partner did both raise an eyebrow at the X-ray scene, X-ray eyes bit you mentioned. We were both a bit like, it's a bit dodgy, isn't it? Like school kids. I'm not sure what the Moff's thinking right in that, but yeah, no. Overall, I found the humour really good in this. It just worked for me. Yeah, maybe I was still a bit tipsy.
I must admit, I did find a few bits of it quite funny. There was especially Capaldi's reaction to a couple of things. Yeah. So when Grant and Lucy are talking and he's trying to, the Doctor can see that he's in a real pickle, quite in a couple of conversations where she's questioning him about date night as well, and he's committed to going on the date with Lucy as the ghost, but also still babysitting the kid.
Yeah.
And the doctor's thinking, how are you going to get around this, mate? And his facial expression sold it. It was really funny.
Yeah.
And I also liked, I know a lot of people will hate me for this, but I found Nardole quite amusing. Don't get me wrong, I didn't fall about laughing, but he did provide a little bit of, because he does work reasonably well with the Doctor, I thought, because there was, I thought that his character would be just like really silly all the time. But there was a couple of scenes where he's actually in the TARDIS and he's flying it, he's at the console and he's learned how to fly the TARDIS, clearly. And he's actually not really fazed by the Doctor. I mean, and with, sometimes, especially Capaldi's Doctor, he can be a bit intimidating at times and a little bit almost condescending at times with companions. But Nardole just doesn't. He seems to not really be taking any messing from Capaldi, does he? He's
that's true. Yeah.
So I was quite interested I am interested to see how that's going to play out as we get into Series 10. But I didn't find. I thought Nardole was going to be the worst bit of the entire story.
So did I. Yeah.
I thought, oh my.
I thought he's going to be hamming it up. He's going to be grimacing, pulling faces. He's going to be, and he wasn't at all. I think, if anything, I think Matt Lucas was reining it in quite a bit. I almost felt like he was holding back, and there are times when I almost wanted him to be a little bit more comedic. I thought, he's trying to be too serious now. But I really liked him in it, and I think you've hit the nail on the head. I like the relationship he's got with the Doctor, in that he's almost like, you can tell that they've become friends. He's almost looking out for the Doctor, because you can tell from the bit at the end when he explains why the Doctor's upset. So you think, okay, Nardole's got his back. But also they like you said, he's also not taking any of his nonsense. He just ignores it. I mean, there was one bit where they're on the spaceship at the end, and Nardole's screaming like a little schoolgirl, and I thought, okay, so now he's doing the comedy bit. But it wasn't too much. It wasn't as sort of in your face comedy, silly slapstick that I was expecting from him. So I quite liked Nardole in it. I thought, okay, I'm on board with it. I can see that he could be a companion now. Let's see where they go with it.
Yeah. Purely because it's just something different. It's
something different, yeah.
It's not a love-struck woman following the Doctor around, flirting all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's not a jealous male companion because of said woman following the Doctor around. So I think it's just something completely different, which is what the show absolutely needs right now.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, even though you didn't think much of this episode, did you not think it at least felt different, good or bad? Because the last two Christmas specials for me have just felt like the same old, all the Moffat tropes, all the bog stuff we've been bogged down in Series 8. This just felt like a standalone. It did feel different to me, good or bad. It felt like he was trying something fresh, may not have worked at every level, but he was doing something new. Like, for example, somebody who hasn't watched Doctor Who for years could quite easily sit and watch this, and they'd either enjoy it or they wouldn't, but they could sit and watch it and follow it. They couldn't sit and watch Last Christmas and all that Clara and Danny stuff and the dream stuff. And, I think this is why my partner enjoyed it. I mean, I can't remember now, but I'm pretty sure he gave up pretty early on with Last Christmas, because he was like, oh, what's happening now? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, it's Clara and Danny, they're in a dream, I don't know what's going on. But at least with this, somebody who perhaps hasn't watched Doctor Who for a while could sit and enjoy it, I think, hopefully anyway.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, so for that, whether you liked it or not, at least the Moff tried to do something fresh.
Yes, I will agree. I will agree with that. It wasn't your usual run-of-the-mill, because the other Christmas specials just felt like an extension of the series that they were attached to. Exactly. They could have easily just been another episode included within that. Whereas this one, you're right, it does feel slightly different to what's been before.
Yeah, I mean, River Song gets a mention at the end, but it wouldn't matter if you didn't know, because I think Nardole sort of explains something about 24 years. Doctor's been away for 24 years, which is quite nice, because that ties in with the fact that the Doctor's been off our screens for a year. It's like, I've been away, but I'm back now. Let's get on with things. I thought, okay, that works quite well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's talk about the villains then, because we did touch on them very briefly.
Yeah.
But so the brain things, they were in last year's Christmas special, weren't they?
Yeah, and I really didn't like him in that. I thought they were. Well, I just thought they were a bit of a rubbish.
Yeah. They were Hydra,
creature, really.
King Hydraflax's minions, weren't they?
Yeah.
If memory serves. And they weren't that great then.
No, I really didn't like him in that at all. I didn't think they worked particularly well. For me, they are the weakest part of this special as well. I just didn't think they were. I just don't find them a particularly interesting or threatening villain. I don't get the whole why they need to hide a gun in their head.
Yeah.
It just seems a bit. It's just a reason to be a bit gruesome by opening up a head. And no, to me they don't work. I think they're coming back, aren't they? Or no. One of them escaped at the end, didn't it? As a unit soldier or something.
Yeah, well, that was a little Moff bit in there, wasn't it? That didn't need to happen.
Nah.
You know, it's just the Moff leaving the door open again for something to come back again.
Yeah.
You know, later on. But nice little reference to Osgood though at the end.
Cool. Yeah, that was nice. Yeah,
it's quite cool. But yeah, so there were two villains, weren't there? There was the Mr. Brock, who was like who owned the company. Was it Harmony Shoals?
That's it.
Yeah, so he's like the big CEO. He's the man in the suit. And then we had the doctor guy, Dr. Sim. So Dr. Sim his brain had been taken over when we see him in the story. And then very early on, Mr. Brock, his brain gets swapped. So he gets one of the alien brains in his body and so on. That couple of scenes I thought were not too bad, where Dr. Sim has sort of, has trapped him in the lab sort of thing. But then we have the very strange thing of the surgeons just living in the wall or living in the other side, you know?
Never gets explained, does it? Who are they? What the hell? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe maybe those guys had the alien brains inside them so they could just chill out in the wall.
Well, the brains with eyes actually made me laugh. I don't think they were supposed to, but when their little eyes were revealed, I did find that quite funny.
Yeah.
But I think it's supposed to be scary.
They did look quite funny.
Well, they just looked a bit funny, sat on the shelf with their little eyes. Yeah.
But we didn't really. I know. There's only so much you can do, though. I mean, I guess they're. I know they had a very small part in last year's Christmas special, but they are supposed to be more of like an isolated story, aren't they? They're not meant to be a big, they're certainly not the Daleks or Cybermen. No. They're just like
I think they're a bit rubbish. They don't even have a name, do they? They don't think they even have a name.
I had a look earlier. I couldn't see a name for them anywhere.
No, Moffat hasn't even bothered to give them a name.
Yeah.
No, they're a little bit rubbish.
Yeah, and it was just... that whole side of things, it was stuff that we've seen many times in Who. The alien threat, something going to blow up the Earth. The Doctor saves the day at the last, it's... And again, Sorry, go on.
No, I gotta say they were very inconsequential, if that's the word. I get the impression that the Moff really wasn't even interested in writing that part of the story. His main focus was the superhero stuff and that, because they didn't really even need, it was so weak, that part of the story, of like what they were trying to do. I literally think he threw it in there to give the episode a baddie and a bit of threat, to be honest, because they did nothing basically.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You're not convinced.
No, and then and then we had another scene which was referenced straight out of a superhero movie whenever he catches the alien ship.
Now,
that was from Superman Returns.
Yeah,
that was a famous scene from that film.
The plane.
Yeah. So there was a lot of scenes.
I did find
like
that ridiculous. I got to be honest with you. I did find that even for a superhero, because I found it ridiculous in Superman Returns, let alone in this. Because only 2 minutes earlier, Grant had been knocked across the floor by one of those people, and the next scene he's holding up a blimmin' spaceship with one hand. So that was a bit silly. But
mind you, we can't really say that as we're talking about a fictional.
No, that's what I mean. Thing. It didn't bother me, but I did sort of think, oh dear.
Yeah, it was a bit. Right, let's talk about some other people then. Let's talk about Grant and Lucy. So Lucy Fletcher, she was played by Charity Wakefield. Good American accent, I thought.
Yeah, it could have. Yeah, it's fine. It could have been a lot worse, couldn't it? We've heard a lot worse.
Oh, blimey!
We've heard a lot worse.
Yeah.
She was fine.
Yeah, she was okay. I mean, clearly the Lois Lane character to the Clark Kent / Superman of Grant and the Ghost. And she was fairly strong. I mean, it was quite good to see her standing up to the Doctor and really quizzing him. And all, when some people talk you into, people that are cleverer than you are. And when they talk to you, they sort of talk you around in circles. And, my wife does it to me all the time. If I'm got a surprise planned or something, she'll start quizzing me. And before I know it, I've told her everything. So she had that angle on the Doctor, she was... I think there was a point where he almost gave in as well. I think she was asking him his name. And he got to the point where he had to get up from the table and walk away. Because I think if he would have stayed there longer, she probably would have got it out of him. But I thought the scenes between her and the Doctor were okay. And she was okay as a character. But I find it weird. I find it strange in these American style, in American movies or American style programs where why is it always a case of like a single mum is available to afford a really nice apartment with a nanny in the middle of New York, where the apartments are probably like $1 million. The similar in London. If you try and buy a flat in central London, you're looking at a couple of £1 million.
Yeah.
So I always find it strange in these American things in the middle of New York, really nice. Single mum, but she's only a journalist and they earn like minimum wage until they get onto like, I don't know.
It's very cliche.
It is really cliched. Yeah.
I think with like a lot of things this episode, if you just don't look too much into it.
Do you know what that
otherwise it just all falls apart. Yeah.
That is the moral of the tale with this episode. And if anyone's listening that hasn't seen it yet, that's probably the best advice I can give you.
Yeah.
Is just to spend all your belief, just go with it and don't look at any of the details at all.
That's it.
Watch it as if you're a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll be fine.
Yeah. I do think they were trying to get in the series that I do think they're trying to get the younger audience back with this one. Definitely.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the big thing. That's the major part that they've lost, isn't it? It's the younger audience are not watching Doctor Who anymore.
Yeah.
So just diehard fans.
What did you think to Justin Chatwin then?
I thought he was all right. I think because I thought he was going to be awful. I mean, I've not heard of the actor. Apparently, he's been in a few things. I've not heard of him, but I'd heard he was terrible. So I was just expecting him to be rubbish and really over the top. I preferred him as Grant rather than the Ghost. I have to say. I mean, when he was the Ghost, I do think he just hammed it up a bit too much. But
he's got a big forehead, hasn't he?
He has got a big forehead, yeah, even with that silly mask on. But no, as Grant, I thought he was all right. I thought, again, I love the scenes with the Doctor. There's a bit of male bonding going on there with, the sort of Doctor just saying to me, "You serious? Come on." So I thought he was okay. Yeah, I thought he worked all right.
He was as Grant, he was not too bad. But as the Ghost, he was bloody awful.
Yeah,
all those cheesy lines and the way he's talking and again,
the snapping of the fingers, and I know.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said earlier, I understand why. It was absolutely on purpose that he was like that.
Yeah.
But it's just so cringy to watch.
There was one line, I forget which it was. There was one line, and I just thought I just about handled the cheese up to then. I thought, yeah, okay, they're doing it on purpose. And then towards the end, he said something, and I remember thinking, oh, it's one cheesy line too many. That like you've just gone too far. I forget what it was because he was very cheesy. But it was all right. It's just I think they just pushed it a little bit with it. Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, but he was all right as Grant though. He was quite cool as the geeky fumbling.
Yeah.
That all worked quite well.
And let's talk about. So we spoke about Nada. Well, let's talk about the Doctor then, Capaldi.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he was like he'd never left. Just
well, I fell back in love with Capaldi
Yeah.
in this episode because I've been wavering with him.
Yeah.
I think when we were talking about him leaving recently, I was saying I was ready for a new Doctor. I said, well, I've kind of like, he's had 2 series to get it right. They haven't written him well. His performance said he's turning into a bumbling Doctor. He does remind me of Peter Cushing's Doctor when he's doing that sort of hunched over shuffling around. I was like, what's happened to him? Where's that strong Doctor gone?
Yeah.
But I really fell back in love with Capaldi in this episode. I thought he was charming. I thought he was sharp, direct, maybe I was going to say in control, but he was actually, because there are scenes when he's just like saying, I'm just going to sort this out now, sort of thing. So no, I really liked him in this. I've definitely fallen back in love with Capaldi's Doctor. I'm really pleased to say that because from his little appearance in class, I remember saying to you, I was worried that he'd just lost his way completely and was turning into this sort of wisecracking idiot. And although he did crack a lot of wisecracks in this, I found he was more back to the sharp sort of quite not grumpy, but he's still got that sort of directness about him, which I liked in the humour, if you like. So yeah, I loved Capaldi in this, got to say, really did. I think he made the episode for me. I think that's one of the reasons I enjoyed it as much as I did, is because I thought Capaldi was just wonderful in it. Really liked him in it. Yeah. What did you think?
Well, I've got no complaints where Capaldi's concerned. I thought he was magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost view him in the same light as I did with Matt Smith for The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe. I thought he was, in a bad, in my opinion, a weak story and a weak script. He was acting his socks off to bring it back. And I felt like Capaldi was in the same thing for me. He was really going for it and really, I agree with you, mate. He, although he wasn't in control all the time, he did have that sort of authority about him again.
Yeah.
And he really did feel like sort of the one of the earlier, which is horrible to say, but one of the earlier versions that's been written for him. When we enjoyed him back when, it's kind of felt like that again, where it's like, yes, the Capaldi Doctor is back.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. It's
I loved him in it.
Yeah, he was really, really good actually. And he had that really great way of doing the humour and the serious again, which he's so good at. And I think that's such an important part of when the people who make the show and they're thinking about actors who are going to play the Doctor, I'm sure that must be quite high up on their list, is to have somebody that can do the fun side of things, and whichever way you want to do fun, whether you want to do it quirky and clownish like Matt Smith, or if you want to do it more direct like Tennant did. But Capaldi seems to do it really well, where he's got this quite deadpan.
Deadpan, yes.
Yeah, quite deadpan, almost kind of cynical sort of humour about him, which is really good. But then he has these little serious moments where, like at the end, where we're talking about River Song and so on. So yeah, I thought he was really, really good in this.
He can do it with an expression, can't he? Like that end scene, he walks in the TARDIS, he sort of unbuttoned his shirt or something, and he's just, I don't think he even says anything, does he? He's just got that look where he sees Mr. Hoffel or whatever it is on the console. But he can say it all in a face, Capaldi. It's just all in that weathered face that that shows he's a good actor. He doesn't even need to say anything for you to get what he's feeling. That's what I loved about it. And he looked, I'm so glad. I mean, I know we're going to see the hoodie in that back in Series 10, but it was so good to see him back to his smart Doctor. Yeah, I love what he was wearing in this. The jacket, the shirt, and everything. No hoodie, no silly shades. It was just really good to see him back to being that Doctor, I thought. I hope we get more of that in Series 10 rather than the hoodie, because I know we saw the shades in the trailer, didn't we? And I did groan that he was wearing them. I was like, oh, the shades.
They are back.
They are back. But at least he was using his Sonic in this episode as well, because he hasn't really used it much, has he? That new Sonic. So, yeah. So Capaldi, definitely on point, I thought.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention before we get our scores in?
No, just I looked through notes. I think we covered it. Murray was still blasting through his music, but it was pretty decent. No, I thought it was, all good. So let's get on to scores. These are going to be different, aren't they?
Very. I think it's... who's going to go first?
You go first, mate.
Me go first. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 3.
A 3?
And those 3 points are Capaldi's, mate.
Oh, dear. I wish I had one of those squeaky toys. I'd be squeezing it at you right now. Well, I'm going a lot higher. I'm going 7.5 out of 10.
Cool.
I loved it. I'm so pleased as well. I'm smiling because I really thought I was going to hate this episode. I'd written it off before I'd even seen it. So yeah, 7.5 for me.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that must be one of the most divided scores we've had, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah,
we're normally a couple of points difference, but it's very rarely that.
There we go.
There we go.
What did you lot think? Let's do an audio review first. This is Adam, the Ultimate Whovian.
Gary and Adam back at it again for 2017. So, the return of Dr. Mysterio I thought was pretty decent, and I was genuinely surprised that I had that reaction. I thought it was a fairly consistent story. I feel like it didn't lose focus at all. It just told one story. Well, it told a few stories. The first off, you have the Dr. Nardole trying to infiltrate Harmony Shoal and thwart their evil plans. And that angle was actually quite good. Matt Lucas did a pretty decent job. And I'm quite intrigued to know what they're going to do with him. Now that he's not just the sound effects character from A Husband's Very Song, because he was just walking sound effects, but he didn't really. He felt like more like Matt Lucas. Peter Capaldi is brilliant, and I'm so glad they got Super Batman in this story. Super Batman was kind of cool, and that superhero angle was done quite well. Yeah, pretty decent on the whole. Here's the 2017.
Cheers, Ad.
Thank you very much, Adam. Yeah, he's on the same page as you, I think, there, mate.
Yeah, he enjoyed it. Yeah, I think maybe because we both went into it with such low expectations.
Yeah. Over on Twitter, the Crinoid podcast says,
great.
Pretty enjoyable, amusing fluff, which is probably what you need at Christmas. Light years ahead of last year's effort. George Garrity says, a lot of flaws, but with the power of Capaldi and great themes like the fallout of the last episode and the repercussions of the Doctor's actions, this still has hope. Nardole is pretty good, yet still two-dimensional. The Ghost isn't as terrible as I thought he would be. Also, nice touch with the villain being in the last episode. Anyway, enjoyable, but flawed, a 6.5.
Okay, cheers.
Before we go on to Facebook, let's do a second audio review. This is Joe Sweeney.
Hello, Gary and Adam. Hope you're too well and had a good Christmas. So, the return of Dr. Mysterio. It's not a bad Christmas special, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be for what I saw on the trailer. The story itself was quite good, and the pacing was okay. There's a little bit of few issues. For starters, Peter Capaldi, he did give a fair performance, but I just don't like the way he's written at the moment, when he's all light-hearted and more bumbling and joking, because he's acting like the 11th Doctor, which is slightly off-putting. I'm just hoping in the next series he goes back to being more dark and more brash like he was in Series 8. And Matt Lucas, he's okay, but I'm just not completely sold on the reasoning why the Doctor had chosen Nardole to travel with him. And because he could have chosen anyone to travel with him if he's feeling lonely. So why specifically Nardole? And Justin Chadwin was okay as a ghost, but I'm not too keen on the outfit. Lucy was quite good, and the alien brain swapping thing is creepy. But I have a feeling that we will see them again. So overall, okay episode. So I'll give it a score of a 7 out of 10. And Series 10 looks fantastic, and I can't wait to see Bill Mackey as Bill in action. So see you all in 2017. Take care for now.
Cool. Cheers, Joe. Yeah, some good stuff. Good thoughts there from Joe.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. Happy 2017 to you also. Right, on Facebook, Sammy Satine. She says, Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin flew away. Superman lost his underpants flying over the USA. Doctor Who is back. The hiatus is over. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't brilliant, but it kept me entertained. I liked Nardole. Was not expecting that. I'm intrigued as to why 12 decided to glue his head back on. Actually looking forward to seeing him in Series 10, which shocks me. The ghost swallowed a crystal. To be fair, the Doctor never told him it was medicine. I'm not sure about the brains. They're weird, much like Justin Chatwin. The attack eyebrows are back. Yay. Excellent performance from Peter as usual. Please stay on for Series 11, pretty please. And she gives it a 7 out of 10.
Excellent. Cheers, Sammy.
Charlie Turner says, glad to have you guys back. Hope you enjoyed the New Year break. So, the Doctor, Return of Dr. Mysterio. It was okay, I guess. I hate to admit this, but I kind of liked Nardole. When compared to the Husband of River song, the comic panels used in the episode look so horrific that it's almost as bad as Ang Lee's Hulk from 2003. But I understand why it was there, trying to make it look like a comic book, which is not a bad thing, but it looks out of place. Doesn't look horrendous, but by far the biggest problem with the episode, in my eyes at least, is that it didn't feel like Doctor Who at all. Just a superhero cliche drama that belongs in the Marvel or DC universe. 5 out of 10 is my rating.
I've seen a few people say that. They didn't think it felt like Doctor Who.
Right, let's do another audio clip, shall we? Now, I was going to edit this one because...
I know who this is.
It's from a guy called Ian.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him in ages, have we?
Yeah, we haven't heard from him in quite a while. And this is the first one. And I was going to edit it down a bit because it's about 3 minutes long, but it's so hilarious that I've chosen to edit. So please bear with it. It's a few minutes. But this is Ian from France.
Hi, everybody. This is Ian from France with a quick appraisal of the return of Dr. Mysterio. Another year, another Christmas special to look forward to. The plot in brief, a bunch of foodstuffs live a secret life in which they yearn to be freed from their supermarket prison and discover life beyond the aisles, only little do they know that the only way out is down the eager gullet of a hungry human. Oh no, hang on, that's the plot of this year's adult animated comedy Sausage Party, which was funnier, more intelligent and more worthwhile of existing than the yearly crap fest we get served up with our Christmas turkeys. And considering that's a film starring the humour vacuum known as Seth Bloody Rogen, the bar is pretty darn low. No, instead, we get some cobbled together nonsense about a superhero's unrequited love. In the starring role was someone by the name of Justin Chatwin, who appears to be the result of a parallel universe version of David Cronenberg's The Fly, in which David Tennant and Hugh Grant inadvertently get gene spliced in a ghastly telepod experiment. The only saving grace was that he wasn't turned inside out, although at least that might have been funny. Here's the major problem for me. Trying to pastiche the superhero genre in the wake of such quality, genre-bending fare as Kick-Ass and more recently Deadpool seems like pure folly, especially when done with the subtlety of a 6'5" bearded man trying to do an impersonation of Kylie Minogue simply by stuffing a medium-sized cushion down his tracksuit bottoms. This was infantilized, lowest common denominator tripe that genuinely made me angry and, once again, left me questioning whether I will ever watch Who again. Why put myself through this when I can just put on my old battered DVD copy of City of Death instead? But I will. We all will. Like gormless gannets being fed semi-digested herring from our mother's beak. We'll suck it up as long as they keep churning it out. Good God, sometimes I hate this life. Merry Christmas, everyone, until the new series arrives. Oh, and don't get me started on that trailer. Could the new companion look any more irritating if she tried? Heaven help us. Ok, bonne année, mes amis. À prochain. Au revoir.
Wow, I think he loved it.
Oh, crikey.
I think I think he should do his own podcast. I think he'd. No, to be fair, it's Ian had given up. Is it Ian, isn't it?
Ian, yes.
Yeah, Ian. Because I remember we haven't heard from Ian for a while because I think he gave up on Doctor Who, and he obviously decided to just, this was the episode where he would just dip a toe in and see what's happening with it nowadays. I can't imagine what he was like for Christmas Day. Oh, so funny.
Thank you very much, Ian. When you first sent that through, Ian, I don't think I've laughed so hard at someone's review before.
I was listening to it last night and I was thinking, I wonder if Gary's going to play this whole thing or if he's going to sit there and try and edit it. Because we normally do ask that people keep reviews to under a minute, don't we? Yeah. Or is it under? Yeah, under a minute, I did laugh. I'm like you. I thought, oh, brilliant.
Oh, thank you very much, Ian. Yeah. That was awesome. Right. Where are we? Right, back on Facebook. Neil Munday says, I really enjoyed it. It was perfect family Christmas evening viewing. It was funny, entertaining, and a good fun watch. The story wasn't exactly original, but it was enough to keep me watching. I really enjoyed Nardole. He was a great comic addition to the Doctor's adventures. Capaldi brilliant as ever, and his little speech referring to losing River was a really beautiful moment. 8 out of 10. Can't wait for Series 10.
Oh, cool.
Danny Brown, very good light-hearted episode of Who. No one can call this a rip-off of the original Superman movie, as it's clear they were paying homage to it and not ripping it off. Sometimes Doctor Who fans just have to enjoy good telly and not get wound up in the pointless details. 7.5.
7.5, same as me.
7 point, yeah. Jeff Waddle says, I haven't really enjoyed many of the Xmas ones and really wasn't looking forward to Nardole, who is just Strax really, with sarcastic one-liners. But this was better than expected. Capaldi on top form, not a brilliant episode, but fun with with enough going on to make it one of the better Christmas ones. Nardole kept to a minimum. You can see how a lot of him would be wearing. I hope they managed to tone down the new companion. From what I've seen, the never-ending questions and dumb act could easily be too much. But he gives it 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I feel the same, Jeff, actually. Yeah, spot on.
More audio clips. This is Dean Jones.
Hello everyone and Happy New Year! So, the return of Dr. Mysterio. That was completely and utterly meh. Yeah, that's kind of the reaction I've got with this episode. The plot and the superhero aspect, it was fine, but it didn't really do anything new. It just stuck with the cliches and that was it. It didn't really subvert them. The performances range from decent Capaldi to absolutely cringeworthy. Cough for Justin Chatwin. Cough. Nardole, I didn't hate him, but what was the point of him being in this episode, really? And the Doctor didn't really do all that much. I mean, Capaldi was good, but he didn't add an awful lot to the story. And the ending, I would have liked a hell of a lot more had Stephen Moffat not said that it was River's song, because I would have appreciated the subtlety of it all. The villains are pretty cool. That's kind of all I've got to say on the return of Dr. Mysterio. It's a very meh episode. It's slapped down in the middle for me in terms of rating. I give this a 5 out of 10. So, catch you all next time, and so long for now.
Straight down the middle.
Cheers, Dean. Yes, down the middle there.
Cheers, mate. Kevin Mullin says, hate the first 5 minutes of slapstick comedy, but once it settled down, it was great. As a Christmas special, it worked brilliantly. I certainly wasn't expecting to enjoy the return of Nardole, but Matt Lucas was brilliant, with his finale speech being a highlight of the episode. If the Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe scored a big fat 0 for me, this scores a very respectable 7.5. Quite possibly the best Christmas special we've had.
Oh, same as me.
Yes. Mark Atkinson, I really quite enjoyed it. Giggled and laughed throughout. Capaldi was playing the Doctor at last, and the script was witty. It was very cheesy, and some of the flying effects were poor, but I could look past all that. I'd hate Who to be like this every week, but as a one-off Christmas romp, it worked a treat for me. 8 out of 10.
Is that you or the Southern Comfort and Lemonade talking there, Mark? No, cheers, Mark.
Cheers, buddy. George Coppen, better than I expected. I like the title, and Capaldi is brilliant. Interested to see more of Nardole, and the aliens in this story were in last year's Xmas special, if I'm not mistaken. I still don't think Capaldi has had a memorable Xmas special, but I can't wait for Series 10. This gets a 6.5.
Okay, yeah.
Miles McKenzie. Hope you guys had a great Christmas and New Year. I had very low expectations for this, and after seeing the awful trailer, but the episode itself is fun, enjoyable, and fantastic. The cheesy lines fit into the story as Grant did grow up reading the comics. I love the Doctor talking about how Spider-Man should have got radiation poisoning. Grant was a likeable character. The brain creatures are okay, but could have looked better. The mention of Osgood brings me hope that we see her in Series 10. I love the surprise trailer at the end and reminds me of the Tennant specials. Can't wait to see the Doctor, Bill and Nardole in Series 10. 8.5.
Yeah, cool.
Russ Hilton. Sadly, in years to come, this will be remembered in the same breath as In the Forest of the Night and Love and Monsters. At best, a 2 out of 10.
Harsh.
Joseph Howarth, to be honest with you guys, I really wasn't looking forward to this one because of what you said before on the podcast. And when I first heard the concept of Doctor Who covering superheroes, I thought, oh dear God, here we go. It's going to be the Husbands of River Song type special. Watched it. It was quite good. Not the best thing to come out of the new series, but it's still relatively decent. I liked the return of Dr. Mysterio. The best way to describe this special is basically the Christmas equivalent of Robot of Sherwood. It's a fun adventure with a familiar sort of plot. Nardole is tolerable, and Capaldi was great. 7 out of 10.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
James Hutton says, I thought the return of Dr. Mysterio was awesome. Best ever, even better than the Husbands of River Song. Nice to see the Doctor happy because he has been through a lot. Nardole was okay, not as annoying as I thought he would be, and the superhero element worked really well, even if the Doctor couldn't do much. Cannot wait for Series 10. He gives it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Adam Bryden says, not a bad episode, but not a good episode. It's somewhere in the middle. The characters do feel like a rip-off of Superman Clark Kent, Lois Lane thing, and the setting does feel like Metropolis from DC Comics. And Nardole, I don't mind him, however, I feel like we needed to see something from Husbands of River Song in this episode. It was something missing overall. I don't mind the concept, I just don't like the superhero hammer to the face. With the Captain America, Flash and Superman references, etc. It gives it a 5 out of 10.
Okay, middle of the road, yep.
And last couple here, Jason Thayer. I enjoyed it. I want to see more of the Ghost. I wish Nardole had more to do, though. I'm trying to give him a chance. Stan Gallagher said, I liked it. Good to have Who back, 7 out of 10. And Lewis Palmer says, it was okay. Everything with Doctor and Nardole surprisingly was great, and I felt Capaldi was excellent, especially with young Grant at the beginning. The comic book fan inside me was jumping for joy, all the in-jokes and references. The speech at the end was also a nice moment. However, I found myself bored and disinterested as soon as Grant and Lucy's home life got introduced. Let's have a look. The speech at the end was a nice moment. However, I found myself... I've already said that, haven't I? I really wanted to set fire to that toy that Lucy kept squeezing. Oh, he's not a fan of the squishy thing there.
Oh, no.
He said it was so annoying. I realised it was supposed to be cheesy in the same vein as a Superman movie from the 70s, but that film also had its serious moments, which added to the stakes. And unfortunately, I did not feel that with this. It's a nice idea that Grant always wanted to be a superhero, and the crystal finally let him do that. Overall, it was certainly interesting, but I'll give it a 5, as it really felt like a story of two halves for me. I'm open to the next series. It looks cool.
Yeah, okay.
And our last audio clip, this is from Owen Daly.
Hi Gary and Adam, hope you're all well and wishing you two a very, very happy new year. So, the return of Dr. Mysterio, wow, that was a bad episode. So, after having no Doctor Who for 2016, which I was fine with, I was expecting the story to be a little bit better. Just seeing all these trailers, I knew it wasn't going to be great, but what we were given was just woeful. It looked camp, cringy, the budget was awful. The monsters were the exact same as Husbands of River Song. Nardole, he shouldn't have been in it, or he didn't serve any use to the plot except giving stupid one-liners. And frankly, all the acting was pretty poor, except for Capaldi and I think the actress who's Lucy. I thought those two were pretty good. One thing I did like was the kind of shadow of River in the story, that the Doctor was sad after the 24 years he spent with her, which I'm happy with him being in love with River, because it actually is love instead of the Doctor and Clara being in love. It is love. But I hated it when it was shoehorned down our throats when Nardo was like, Rivasson was her name. It was just stupid. He didn't have to shove it down her throats. Yeah. But one thing this story did for me most was kind of make me wonder, is this my show anymore? Am I the target? Like, is this show for me? Because I've loved The Big Finish, loved the classics, loved Torchwood this year, but I've hated Doctor Who in the last 2 years, so I'm really, really worried about the show at the moment, and Series 10 doesn't look any better. But yeah, so Happy New Year. I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 10. Not very good. See you.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Not feeling
it. Not happy. Not feeling it, no.
Cheers,
no.
Did you have any reviews or anything on the Geeks Handbag?
I did, yeah. I think a couple of them were the same, commented on both pages unusually, so I'll try and miss them out. But if you hear a name you've done, just go next.
Okey-dokey. Yep.
But also, just quickly before I read these, I forgot to ask you, were you disappointed in the explanation for Nardole having his body back? It's just the fact that the Doctor, it was like done in a throwaway line, wasn't it? Like he's like, you stitched my head back on. That was it.
Yeah, I imagine that was just the setup.
You think we're going to
out in Series 10? Yeah.
We shall see. Yep. Okay, so Thomas Scott, he says, The Return of Dr. Mysterio, well, it's a Moffat special, so I went into it with no hope. But I have to say, I really enjoyed it and loved Matt Lucas and Peter Capaldi. My only downside is I did not enjoy the romance side, as I thought it needed more time to work better. Thomas gives it a 7 out of 10. And I'm just going to have to find my Facebook post because I did it straight after the episode, so it's a fair way back on my feed. So on Facebook, we had a few. Yeah, let me know if we've had any of these. So Ryan Anthony said, not bad at all. So glad to see Doctor Who back on TV. The cast was good. The storyline didn't leave me bored that much, which is surprising for an Xmas special. The teaser for Series 10 looks great, he says. Kevin Mullen, a bit slow at the beginning. We've had him, haven't we? Yeah. Yep. Martin Asquith says, really enjoyed it, and a superhero angle was much more plausible than expected. Overall, he would give it an 8.5 out of 10. He says the new series looks very slick and looking forward to more of Matt, of course, and the introduction of Pearl as Bill. Jonathan Dolan says, very boring. I wasn't sold on the idea from the trailers from the start. It just lived up to my expectations of typical mindless Christmas runaround. Oh dear. Andrew Mall says, based on the first half hour, I would give it 3 out of 10. However, I felt that it did pick up for the second half, so I would rate it a 6 out of 10 overall, he says. Greg Taylor, not as bad as I thought it would be. Series 10 trailer looks naff, though. Pearl seems rather irritating. Matt Lucas and her are going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm wondering how that's going to work. Jeff Kennel says, really enjoyed it. Liked what I saw in the trailer too. Looking forward to seeing my mate Pearl in action. I think that's because Jeff met her at the stage door about 20 times.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a surname. Eric Huyinga, I think, says, I like the American spin to it. Looking forward to the next episode. Aidan Gooch thought it was going to be crap, but I really enjoyed it. Matt Lucas was good. Jace Walker, loved it. Exceeded my low expectations. Looking forward to Series 10. Just got a couple more here. Jamie Ferguson, not good for a Christmas special. Awful for an episode after a year-long break. And why, Nardole, why? But I think Series looks okay, so not so impressed. Joe Sweeney we've had. Ash White, very good. People need to stop moaning, he says. Jace Howes, I was expected to hate it, but I loved it, he says. Callum Johnson says that the kid that played Grant was just awful. He was all right. Charlie Turner we've had. Paula Black, liked it a lot. Danny Brown we've had. Adam Time Lord Fishwick, little bit disappointed, but it was okay. But Series 10 looks amazing. And finally, Matt Whelan comes in with one word to sum it up. He simply says, crap. So,
wow.
So quite a lot. Yeah, I posted that straight after the episode, so we got quite a few comments. Yeah, I think people were just venting off a bit of steam. But one thing that surprised me from all our comments is the amount of people that are now looking forward to seeing Nardole, because he'd become a bit of a running joke on Twitter. I think people are like, oh, Nardole's back. Oh, Nardole's going to be awful. These people are warming to Nardole now, so hopefully he'll be quite good in Series 10. Yeah,
certainly. I wasn't expecting him to be. I was expecting real kind of over the top.
So was
silliness and stuff, but he was actually all right.
I was expecting sort of Little Britain style, really in your face, humour. Yeah, I'm looking forward to him, actually.
Good time. So I think that was quite split, but surprisingly, and the only reason why I say surprisingly is because normally the Christmas specials aren't reviewed that well. But we had a few low scores in there, but surprisingly, quite a few people enjoyed it, which is a good thing. It is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm it's very surprising.
Maybe next Christmas I'll watch it after I've had a few brewskis.
That's it. Have a Southern Comfort and lemonade like Mark Atkinson.
Yeah. And I think we're going to do that, mate, for episode 123.
All right.
Thank you for joining us and sticking with us as we go through the recent Christmas special. Return of Dr. Mysterio. Thank you so much for sending in your audio clips and taking the time to do that and post on Facebook and Twitter and so on. It's very awesome. Awesome sauce, as they say.
Awesome sauce, yeah.
Remember too, if you're one of our budding artists out there who listen to the show, we will put a link to the Penguin book that's out later on this year so that you can get your artwork submitted. You don't want to miss out on that one. Sounds good.
That one.
Here we go. And remember, we've now given you the details for the Christmas special on Blu-ray. So that should have whetted your appetite to go and get stuck into the hours and hours worth of special features.
Yes, all two of them.
All two of them, yeah. Right, next week we're going to kick off with Classic Who as our regular review, and it's a First Doctor one. What are we going to do next week, buddy?
Yeah, next week we're going all the way back to the beginning. We're going to be reviewing An Unearthly Child.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a great way to kick off the year.
Wow, yeah, it will be.
So look out for the Facebook post for that. Head over to the website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.com. You can listen to all the previous episodes there, plus you can link off to Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, and you can also subscribe in iTunes. And if you do listen to us on iTunes, if you could give us a review and a rating, if you've got 2 minutes, that would be fantastic, because that really helps us out loads. Remember to check out Adam's channel, The Geek's Handbag. Do a search for that over on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
Plenty of good videos over there.
Yeah, lots of new stuff planned for the new year. I love it.
Good stuff.
I love it.
Right, we will see you guys next week for episode 124. Until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
Oh, God. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember... I was way off there.
Oh.
Ready? Lottie!